show you. Look into my eyes and I own you. With them moves like Jagger, I got them moves like Jagger, I got them moves. Baby, it's hard. You feel like you're broken and scarred. Nothing feels right, but when you're with me, I'll make you believe that I got the key. Oh,
All right, here we go. Let's get rolling on 2.3. Multiply and divide real numbers. Start off as supposed to be a joke. 5/4 of Americans are bad at fractions. It's a joke. Pretty hilarious if you like fraction jokes, I suppose. Let's make sure we got the main rules to this thing. What is going on? We're going to use a lot of calculator, but you got to know this. When you multiply or divide numbers, if you have the same sign, so like if you have a positive, times a positive, what are you going to get? You are going to get a positive. If you say a negative, -2 times -2, a negative times a negative is also positive. So remember, same sign equals a positive. Different sign, what if you have 2 times -2? That is -4. Or what if you have -2 times 2? The signs are different, one positive, one negative, then you get a negative answer. Same is true for division. If you take 8, divide it by a -8 divided by 4 is what? It's -2. So remember these same sign positive, different signs equals a negative. Fantastic. So we're going to use that the whole time. Let's get rolling and do some of these. All right. Let's start with multiplication here. So we can use a calculator if you'd like on some of these, but really it's just the same rules we talked about. Negative times negative is what? Positive. 6 times 7 is 42. Excellent. 8 times 3 is 24, but what do you notice? The signs are different, so this is negative. If you have a hard time with your times table, go back and practice them. Use your calculator. Again, we just want these right answers here. Let's take a look at decimals. Decimals I'm going to use the calculator for. You can multiply them and move the decimal over, but if you, usually with decimals to kind of speed things up, I just go ahead and type in the calculator. 5.8 times 4 is 23.2, so it just types them right in. And same thing, make sure you're good with your negatives as well. So your negatives is what? We're going to say negative 6.1. And you can use the parentheses, or in this case, you can just use the times button. It shows up as this little star here. Negative 7.5. Fantastic. So 45.75. Fantastic. 45.75. So please, whatever you do, we're not going to use the old school X symbol anymore for times. This is weird. We don't like this anymore. Why? Because it looks like an X and now we have X's. So we're not going to use this to multiply. You can say 6.1 and a dot times 7.5. Or you can use parentheses. But do not use the X. And again, those were negatives, so I can throw my negatives in there. Awesome. Very good. Let's scroll down here to fractions. And again, this is the one I want you to know by hand without a calculator. I wrote the rule down here. Fill it in on your notes. To multiply fractions, what do you got to do? You just got to multiply across the top, and you got to multiply across the bottom. So the top's the numerator, the bottom's the denominator. I'm going to multiply straight across the top. So I'll multiply this guy by this guy. 8 times 4, multiply this way, is what? 8 times 4, 32. And then multiply across the bottom. What is 3 times 5? 15. Done and done. So you can see this is much easier than adding and subtracting. I don't need a common denominator. I just multiply them. How about this? Is there a top and the bottom to 6? Sure. Remember, everything is a fraction. It's just 6 divided by 1, which is 6. So if you want to rewrite it, you can. Now be careful. I've got signs are different here. So I'm going to say 6 times 7, 42. And on bottom, 1 times 5 is 5. Fantastic. And the last one, I know my answer is what? Negative times a negative is a positive. I'm going to go ahead and say 10 times 3 is 30. So I'm going to multiply these guys, and then 6 times 7, 42. Does that reduce? Sure. They're both even, so I know 2 goes into both of them. So 2 goes into 30 15 times. 2 goes into that 21 times. Does that reduce again? Yes. 3 goes into both of these. So 3 goes into 15 5 times. 3 goes into 21 7 times. So really 5/7 is the best answer. And some people like to do this cancellation thing, which is cool if you want to do it. 3 goes into this. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice. Is a good way to do it. I feel like I messed something up. Is there something wrong here? Oh, 2 goes into 10. Sorry. So I've got 2 goes into itself once, 2 goes into 10 5 times. So if you want to do this cross cancel, that's cool. You would get 5 times 1 is 5, 1 times 7 is 7. You go straight to the answer. Or calculator will do all this for you. There he is. All right, I had a hard time getting him. All right. If you want, you can type all this in from the beginning. So we're looking at what? Negative 10. I can't even read it very well. Let's erase some of this because I'm having a hard time seeing it. All right. So we've got negative 10 6. So fractions I put in the parentheses. Put those in the parentheses so we know we're good. Then I'm going to multiply it by what? Negative 3 sevenths. Excellent. Hit enter. And I get that, remember, but what am I going to do with that? Math frac. And when I math frac it, what does it give me? It gives me the nice reduced answer of 5 7. So pretty nice. Hooks you up with the reduced answer and everything. Fantastic. Let's do mixed numbers then. Mixed numbers are good. I just got to make them improper fractions, though. So what do I do to make this? Remember, it's 5 times 6 is 30, plus the 3 on top. So I'm really looking at 33 fifths. 5 goes into 33 6 times with 3 left over. So 6 and 3 fifths is 33 fifths. I'm going to multiply by what? Well, 5 times 1 plus 2 is 7 fifths. And don't forget the negative. Now let's multiply this straight across the top, straight across the bottom. 33 times 7. Oh, that is going to be what? I'm going to guess it is, let's see, 31. I don't know if that's right. I'm going to check on a calculator. 5 times 5, 25. So that's some big numbers. Let me make sure we multiplied that right. Make sure we're good to go here. We've got what? Clear this bad boy out. So I said I converted this to 33 fifths. And we're going to multiply by negative 7 fifths. Whoa, not 75. That would not be good. Let's try that. Boom. And let me close the parentheses. Hit enter. So we've got this decimal right here. Let's math frac it. Math frac. And, oh, what I do? I forgot the negative sign. So I was too worried about the multiplying. It is the right number, but what happened here? We've got a positive times a negative, so this is actually negative. Negative 231 over 25. Fantastic. So that is multiplication. Let's get ready for some division. Oh, we got divide. Oh my goodness. Before we go to divide, let's talk about this math trophy I got. Got this great math trophy. Says, I thought we could have a friendly competition between schools, between Baumholder, Ramstein, and K-Town. If ever what in the world? Mr. Sullivan, what are you doing? Why are you laughing like that? I don't understand. I'm trying to explain the competition I want to start. There's Mr. Sullivan laughing at. So I want to have competition. The winner of the competition is going to get this great trophy. They can have it in the room. They can sign it. They can write messages on it. Each quarter, we're going to give this trophy out to the school that actually is the farthest. Mr. Sullivan, I'm trying to talk here. Why are you giggling? Oh, I see why you're giggling. It's Kick Some Math. That's funny. That is funny. This is a math reference for addition. I see why you think it's so funny. So I'm assuming by his laughter, his jolly little schoolgirl laughter, Mr. Sullivan is in on this competition. So if K-Town High School has the class with the highest average, we'll give the trophy to K-Town for the quarter until maybe Baumholder or Ramstein gets a class higher. We'll see. We'll keep trading until the end of the year, and we'll find out who has the best. So it should be a great competition. See how it wins. Let's see if Mr. Kelly's in on it. Oh, there's Mr. Kelly. What's he doing? Oh, of course, he's in his car. He likes to cruise around in that nice convertible. Mr. Kelly, what do you think? Is Baumholder going to be in on this? Oh, he's just fading away. Fading in and out. I'm going to say he's not too cool for school. We'll say Mr. Kelly's in, so hopefully Baumholder's in, can take the challenge. Excellent. Good luck getting the Kick Some Math trophy. Okay, to help us with division, we have to know the multiplicative inverse. What in the world is a multiplicative inverse? Jot this down. It's just saying, what can I multiply? Multiply by what number so that it equals 0? So that's my whole goal. We're going to use a thing called a reciprocal, which really just means flip the fraction. So, multiplicative inverse, I'm going to say, I'm going to times this by some number. I don't know what it is. and it's going to equal 1. So 2 times what number is 1? Well, we're going to use this reciprocal. Reciprocal means flip the fraction. Oh yeah, half of 2 is 1. That makes sense. So 2 times a half is 1. So I'm going to flip this fraction. Remember, this was a fraction. It was 2 over 1. So if I have 8, what's its multiplicative inverse? Well, 8 times what? 8 times 1/8. That equals 1. So its multiplicative inverse is 1/8. Its multiplicative inverse is 1/2. So can I, what about a negative? Does that throw me off? Well, if I want it to equal 1, what has to happen here? A negative times a positive is negative, so what does this number have to be? It has to be the same sign, so it has to be negative. So these are both positive or both negative. So then what's going to give it to me? This negative 1/6. Fantastic. Can we do it with fractions? Sure. What number, 4/5 times what number gives you 1? Well, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to flip the fraction, so this becomes 5/4. And really what's happening here, 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20. Well, what is 20 divided by 20? It is 1, so that's why it works. Can I just look at this? What's the multiplicative inverse of negative 1/3? I know it's got to also be a negative, sign's the same, and flip it, it's going to be negative 3. So these are multiplicative inverses right here. Boom, boom. Excellent. So now we get the multiplicative inverse. Why are we doing that? Well, we needed to divide. Dividing is actually just multiplying. We're multiplying really by, like, it's reciprocal here. So negative 2 divided by negative 12 divided by negative 2 is the same thing as multiplying by negative 1/2. We're multiplying by its reciprocal. So an integer is not a problem. I'm just going to use my head. What's 12 divided by 2? It's 6. Signs are the same, so I know it's positive. How about this? 5 divided by 3. What is 5 divided by 3? It is 5 divided by 3. It's a decimal. It doesn't work out. You can leave it just like this. I like this answer a lot. If you're going to make it a fraction, or I'm sorry, a decimal, you can just type it in. What is 5 divided by 3? Boom. 1.666666. Yeah, we're going to round it the hundredths place. So the perfect answer for this one is actually 1.666. This bar means it's repeating forever and ever and ever. It's always 6. So that would be the best. That would be the best way to write a decimal. But I'm pretty cool with this. I like this fraction here, and we're good to go. How about decimals? Well, there's the rules to doing decimals, but really I'm going to just go calculator, save some time on these. So I'm going to say, oh yeah, what is negative 16.4 divided by 4? Signs are different. I know it's going to be negative 4.1. So negative 4.1. Fantastic. So dividing, not too bad. Let's do fractions. Again, this is what I would prefer you do without the calculator, but use that calculator to help check you. Write this down. How do I divide fractions? Well, I'm going to flip the second fraction and multiply. So this is that whole idea of the reciprocal. So really, it's a division problem here. 5/3 divided by 4/7. What am I going to do? I'm going to flip the second fraction. So it's 5/3. I'm really timesing by 7/4. And now go ahead and just multiply like you normally would. 5 times 7, 35. 3 times 4, 12. Done and done. I am good to go. Pretty cool, huh? Let's do the next one. 3/8 divided by negative 2. Is negative 2 a fraction? Sure, it's a fraction. Remember, it's like saying 2 over 1. So really, I'm looking at 3/8. I'm timesing by negative 1/2. And I'm going to use this because that negative sign makes it look kind of weird. So I'll use parentheses. And then, so I flipped it. Follow the rules. 3 times 1. We got negative 3 on top. 8 times 2, 16. Boom. There it is. Negative 3/16. In the finale here, I've got this double negative, so I know my answer will be positive. So we're looking at 10/3. And I'm going to multiply that by flip it. And that'll be negative 2/5. And now multiply across the top. I'm looking at negative times negative is positive, so that's going to be 20 over 3 times 5 is 15. Does that reduce? Sure. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 5 goes into 15 3 times. Boom. There it is. That's one that maybe you want to check in the calculator. Am I okay with that? Let's check it out. Calculator will hook you up, man. On this one, we've got negative 10/3. Put in parentheses. And I'm going to times this by what? Well, let's go back to the problem said divide. You can actually type it in as divide. And so you don't have to do it dividing by negative 5/2. Your choice. If you want to flip it and multiply it, or if you just want to straight up divide it like the original problem said, it's going to give you that decimal again, which is 1.3 repeating. But of course, what are we going to do? Math frac. 4/3. Boom. There it is. Very, very nice. One more mixed number. Can we do the mixed number? Sure, not a problem. If we change it to an improper fraction. So 8 times 3, 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. So really I'm saying 26/3 divided by 4. But what do I got to do? Flip this. Remember, 4 is a fraction. It's like 4 over 1. So I've got 26/3 times, flip it, 1/4. And now go ahead and multiply it out. We've got 26 over 3 times 4 is 12. They're even on top, even on bottom. I know it reduces. So let's say 2 goes into the top 13 times. 2 goes into the bottom 6 times. 13, 6. So we can do mixed numbers. Great job on dividing. What about this? Can you divide by 0? Is it possible? If I have $4, can I divide it up into 0 people? Can I take my $4 and say I'll give it to 0 people, into 0 parts? Can you do it? Oh, well, let's just say. And the calculator says what? If you divide by 0, ooh, you can only do it if you're Chuck Norris. Only Chuck Norris can do it. It's impossible to divide anything into 0 parts unless you are Chuck Norris. So for us, no, this is impossible. You cannot do it. Just impossible to divide by 0. So you get an error, doesn't exist, so don't give us an answer here. Can you divide by 0? No, you can't do it. All right, the finale. Let's bring the pain. Here we go. These look tricky, but they're not bad at all. We're going to divide, but remember, we've got a little bit more going on here in the fraction. This is in parentheses. This is the whole top being divided by the whole bottom. So really, it's just kind of order of operations. What we're allowed to do is divide everything in top by 4. So I can rewrite this as 8x divided by 4 plus 12 divided by 4. I'm allowed to split the fraction. So you can't just pick one of them and divide it by 4. It's the whole thing is being divided by 4, so I can make it 2 fractions. So what is 8x divided by 4? Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2. The x just comes down with it. 12 divided by 4 is what? 3? So this really equals this. That big old fraction there looks like this. And this is going to come in handy later. We're going to really need this skill later on. But these are equal. This bottom one is a much better way to write it. We're going to use it for graphing and things like that. So that's what we need to be able to do. How about this one right here? Whoa, a little out of control. Let's split the fraction again. So I've got 9y divided by 3. Remember, it's the whole top plus 15 divided by 3. So everybody's getting divided by 3. Well, 9 divided by 3 is 3, so that's 3y. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So this is my answer. Much a better way to write if I simplify it. In the last one, how about this? The whole top is being divided by 2, so I'm really looking at 6m divided by 2 plus 7 divided by 2. Everybody gets divided by that 2. 6m divided by 2 is what? 3m? 7 divided by 2 is a decimal. I'm going to leave it as a fraction, though. I like these as fractions, and it'll help out later when we do go to graphing. So you could put 3.5, but for now, let's leave it as these improper fractions and leave it just like that. Awesome. We brought the pain. Good work. I'm going to end here with a little movie clip, pretty hilarity math clip. Good luck on the mastery check. Hope it goes well. Peace out.
I got a problem I want you to solve. Okay, Tony? This is your problem. Medea told Tony to go upstairs, 13 stairs, and call 10 digits to get some help with her homework. Tony said she ain't doing it, sat back on the sofa and folded 2 of her arms and rolled 2 of her eyes. Medea grabbed Tony by 2 of her ankles, dragging her up the stairs, hitting her head on every step. How many bruises will little Tony have by the time she gets to the emergency room at Grady Hospital?